Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, we have our weekly podcast, Big Sam and Nephews, and Sherry. Sherry's probably not going to be able to talk. Just do hand signals, Sherry. How about that? No? Can you do hand signals either? Yeah, there you go. That'll work. So anyway, we do this half an hour sports podcast with my nephews. One of my nephews is out right now. He'll be on here in about 5 or 10 minutes. My other nephew's on right now, and all we do is talk about sports. So we'll take it away.
There we go. So today, big football day. Well, hold on. Where do you want to start? You want to start with basketball? You want to start with some baseball? What do you want to do? 'Cause
Let's go with baseball right now.
baseball. Let's go with baseball. So we had the
I want to give my condolences. I didn't really know him that well, but ex Cardinal, the greatest Cardinal pitcher of all time, Bob Gibson, passed away this week.
yep. Rest in peace,
And
Bob.
but actually, Lou Brock passed away a month ago.
Oh
Two
yeah,
other,
he
two
sure
other,
did. Yep,
yeah, two
sure
other
did.
great Cardinals.
Sure did.
Right.
Sure did.
So
Yes.
that's you hate to hear that, but it happens. You know, but I
Yeah.
tell you, and then I found out too. One of my very best friends here in Minneapolis is he grew up with Bob Gibson, played ball with him and everything.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, man. So the playoffs are in full swing. So we got some ALDS and NLDS matchups. We have the Miami and Atlanta, which took 20 years to win a playoff matchup. So being in Atlanta, everybody's kind of happy. Um,
Right.
so that's good. And then Miami, kind of surprised for the National League. Like, just kind of came out of nowhere. Not that they're bad, but they were kind of picked to be,
Kind of
well,
off. They were just sort of in the middle of the. They get surprised. They surprised me.
yep, yep. I didn't think they were going to be there, but I mean, it's a shortened season, so it's a lot of different things that can happen. So and then you have their series kicks off tomorrow. Actually, their series kicks off Tuesday, and then you have
Right.
Houston and Oakland. That's going to be a slugfest, literally, with some fisticuffs.
Yeah, because they don't like each other.
Exactly. So that's going to be good. That's going to be a series, and
But
both.
good for Houston because Houston, they cheated and they fought their way back and they got a new coach now. And I got to shout out to Dutchy Baker, one of my homeboys. He's coaching Houston Astros. So big shout out to him. They're back in the playoffs. So
Big shout
good.
out. Big shout out. And so who else? And the other matchups. So two more matchups. We have Tampa Bay and New York, who also don't like each other, which is kind of crazy.
Right. Right.
um, and you have and they and both the ALDS both games they start tonight, and then they have the NL.
Right.
They start on Tuesday.
Monday, Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Okay.
Yep. And then you have San Diego. Oh, again, San Diego and I-5. San
Two
Diego and
SoCal
I-5.
teams,
That's
man.
right. That's right. Hey, man. So here goes the thing, Uncle. San Diego looks really, really good right now. They look like they could probably compete and win it all. I think every team that's in it can win the championship
Right.
because of the way it is. So
Right.
San Diego, they look more complete. I mean, Yankees, they Yankees are the Yankees, but then you have LA, who's dependent on pitching and some hitting. But San Diego, they're like kind of clicking on all cylinders right now.
They are.
I mean, Tatis Jr. is, what can you say about him? He's really, really good.
He's a fantastic ball player.
Yeah, man. I mean, my favorite guy is Ronald Acuna Jr. That's my guy. I don't know if I'm being a homer right now from Atlanta, but hey, it is what it is. So, but that's baseball in a nutshell for the week.
And then on to basketball. We'll go with the NBA.
That's simple, sweep.
Lakers in Miami, and I'm just thinking that might be a sweep. Miami might mess around and get a win, but it's look. You say no, yeah. She's Sherry's really like
Jerry
that's what
says
I'm
no
feeling. The same
too.
thing. It's like I think it's over with.
Yeah, it's a,
You
it's
know,
it's a done deal. I mean, they're getting bench scoring. They're getting 30 and 30 from LeBron and AD. So I mean, you got Kuzma, he's getting 10. You got Rondo, who's throwing at 16 points a game right now. Like what in the heck? Like Rondo's killing threes, but they're doing everything that they're supposed that you needed them to do. So everybody's playing their role of, hey, look, open shooters, knock down threes. And if they miss shots, then they're not gonna be able to. The Lakers. It'll be hard on the Lakers. You see the games that the Lakers lost that they weren't able to hit outside 3-point shots. Games that they're winning, they're just dominating from the 3-point line. They're shooting like 52%.
Everybody's knocking down threes for them now. It's like, where'd these guys come from?
Right, right. Hey, Unc. So let me ask you
Yes.
this: what do you feel about Doc Rivers and the Clippers?
Um, I think it's a good move because 7 years, you'd been in LA, and I just think that he needed to move on somewhere else because he couldn't get it done. Because really, he only had that one championship in Boston, and he had a great team there. But after that, really, and that's the reason why Danny Ainge got rid of him like a couple years later after that because couldn't win the big one.
Right, right. I mean,
And so
that's
he comes to LA, and everybody thought for sure. Even I
yeah,
thought for sure that the Clippers were gonna take it, but it just goes to show
yep, yep.
Paul George is part of the problem. And I hear some talk that they may trade him.
I can't. God dang, boy. How you share what you think? Yes or no? Trade him or no? Trade or yes or no? She says trade him. Trade says he
Right,
got to go. I
right.
think. I think with them, they got a nice piece. They got some good pieces, but yeah, one of those guys got to go. I mean, I don't care if it's Kawhi, but Kawhi shows up.
Right. Kawhi shows up. Paul George doesn't show up.
Yeah, he's like every 6 games,
Right.
and I'm gonna show up. I mean, so I think like when Paul George is on, man, he's on. It's nothing you can do about it. But it's few and far between where he's really where they could gel together. So I don't know. I'll be interested to see. I mean, I think Ty Lue will get the job.
You think so?
Yeah, I think he will. Yeah. I mean, who else are you gonna put in there?
Well, there aren't a lot of good available coaches that are out there because actually they're really good. They be playing in a championship.
Right. Right. So Ty Lue, he has a championship already. So
Right.
I think it's a no
Well,
brainer. I think it's a
I
no
think
brainer.
Ty Lue kind of relates to the players a little bit better than Doc,
Right.
you know. And I just think that I think that it was just time for Doc to go somewhere else.
Well,
And so now they signed him in Philadelphia.
Sherry,
And I
I kind of
guess
agree. I agree with you, Sherry. Hold on, Uncle. I agree with Sherry. Sherry said that he hasn't played the same since he got hurt. So I agree. That is a
who
big
was
hit.
that?
Paul George.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
that's a tough. I mean, again, but I mean, you get on the team and you have championship expectations. So
Right.
it's a little different. I mean, I agree. I do agree. So I wouldn't hold it against him as where he's not a bad player. I mean, he's still a star.
No, he's still a star, but in crucial times like this, you gotta if they say you're a superstar, you gotta play like a superstar.
Correct the
And
building
Paul
up.
George, I'm sorry, he did not play like a superstar.
Nah,
He
not
played
when
like
it
a
counts.
bum.
Yeah, for real. Straight up bum. Straight up bum. So, yeah, Lakers are gonna get. I did call it out. I said 4 or 5. So we'll see what happens. See what
But I
happens.
heard some talk that they may trade Paul George, send him away to somewhere else.
Yeah, but
Um,
what you gonna get
they
back for him?
they gotta get um, some I think at least two comparable players, at least two comparable players, at least two,
Right.
because a lot of guys are up right now. They're probably gonna. What my guess is, they're probably gonna just go ahead and play it out this year, well, not this year, next
Next
year,
year.
and after next year, if they don't get in the playoffs again, then it's like cut bait and find someone's got to go. It's probably not all in all intents and purposes. It's got to be Paul George.
Yeah. Hey, listen to what I heard on. I heard Jalen Rose, and he was like, so they were talking about the same situation, and he was saying that there's not a real galvanizing leader on that team where somebody's like, look, this is what you need to do. Here goes what somebody who's really in your face type, that gets all the players together and everybody has their set role as a player. And so he was like, "You need Chris Paul back in the building."
Right.
And I was like, "Wow, that would be
Well,
that would be great because you put Chris Paul and uh, Kawhi Leonard together.
that's a great combination.
Oh, it's a wrap. Yeah, because now, hey, look, I can facilitate to you. I can get you 20 and 10 assists a game. Kawhi could do his thing, and we got the bench mob.
Right. But they're gonna clean house. I think they got to because
Right.
some of the guys on the bench they can go somewhere else and do make a nice decent living. They're already gonna get rid of the center, the backups. No, the actually
Zubek.
starting center. He's gone.
Yeah, Zubek is gone. Hey, what do you think about the Timberwolves? Do they need a new coach? Just since you're in Minnesota.
Well, I love Ryan Saunders. I really do. I've known that kid from the day he was born, and good coach. I don't think that's the problem. I just think the problem is they need some decent players. That's the problem because he Ryan he's a cut off from his daddy, right? He's good.
Right. Right.
Flip was an excellent coach too, but I just think that he's got to have. It's like anything else in Minnesota. You got to have talent, right? If you don't have talent, you're not gonna win.
Right. Right. Cat needs. Sherry says Cat needs to step up. 'Cause
Yes, he does. He does. He does need to step up for sure.
that's the
But
main
right
thing.
now, you look at the situation with the Timberwolves. They may get a top draft pick, but again, it's going to be somebody that's going to be young,
Yeah.
and they already have a young team. Period. So if you put young with young, no, you got to be able to. I would trade that pick away in a heartbeat and get a veteran in the PM. I really would.
You know what? And that's going back to thinking about that. Is like when you got Jimmy Butler, it's like, dude, you got a dude who was a dog. He's a dog. He's
Well, there was a
somebody.
problem with that. Was
There
that
was a problem,
there was
but here goes the thing.
Jimmy Butler,
But see, here goes the
like,
thing. You have to know that, man. These little young boys, they don't like criticism, man. Look, I can care if you if you hold somebody accountable. Oh, I'm this, I'm that. Look, man, you have all the talent, so I'm getting on your butt because guess what? You got all this talent, and you're not producing. You can't go out there and play good one game and then go out and be terrible the next game. Every night, you got to be the same. You got to be consistent.
right, right.
I mean, on the personal level, I mean, that's on the game. I don't know what happened on the personal level, but I think that bled into their personal
It
relationship.
probably did. It probably did. I'm not 100% for sure. I just all I know is that, and really, it's really relevant to even talk about it. But what happens is that you got these young guys and they don't like criticism, and then you got D'Angelo Russell. He is just a scorer. That's all he does.
Right.
He can score. They don't. I don't see him playing a lick of defense. I really don't.
Nope. He's an Olay, Olay, Olay.
Right. He'd be like Pedro, the
Like,
you
woo,
know, Olay,
Olay,
the
baby.
bullfighter.
The bullfighter. Olay. Olay.
So that's just like, wow, man. But no, I think I don't I don't think the coaching is a problem. I really don't. I just think they need more talent in Minnesota. Same thing with the Twins. They don't have enough talent.
Right.
Good coaching, but not enough talent.
Yeah, they got one or two good guys, but not enough. Yeah, not enough
Yeah,
talent.
you gotta have,
They don't have
you
any
got
arm. They don't have any arm talent, man. That's what they need. They need some arm talent.
right.
Some arm talent, man. They could do some things.
Well, this market has always been kind of I'm trying to think of the correct word to put it. It's kind of sort of a bargain basement franchise. All the franchises here, they're all, with the exception of the Twins. I mean, the Twins, the Vikings. They paid a lot of money to Kirk Cousins, and now Kirk Cousins is one because the Vikings won today. By the way,
Oh,
they're
yay!
one. They're 1-3 now.
So 1-3 now. And Sherry's
Mm-hmm.
happy. Sherry's happy.
Right.
She's ecstatic. They're going to the Super Bowl now.
I think not.
Come on, man. Okay. That was my jab. That was my jab. It's okay. I'm just doing it because she can't talk right now.
Well, the sad part about it is that here people have all these expectations on the Vikings, but they've never come through. The Vikings have never come through. They never have.
Nope. Nope.
And I get it. You can root for your teams and all that other stuff, but I just think that all the way around the board, they spent that money to bring Kirk Cousins in here, and they could have spent money. They could have got another defensive lineman. They could have got another offensive lineman. You could have done, because I don't think I'm not. If I'm Kirk Cousins' agent, I'm smiling all the way to the bank.
Yeah, because
That's
I'm
3% of that $90 million.
exactly.
Yeah.
I got you. I got you. Yeah, I'm with you.
So it's just like anything else. It's like they just they put the money kind of in the wrong area sometimes. In the same situation when KG was here,
Right.
they spent all that money on KG, and the next year they had a lockout,
Correct. Correct.
right? Well, then they resumed the the season, and then KG played, but again he was just playing with mediocre guys.
Right.
And it wasn't until he went to Boston we got with Paul Pierce, Rondo, and those players that want to win.
Yes. Right.
Then he won.
Right.
But if if you're just hanging out there by yourself, no. And I think here's the other thing too. I saw Sherry's text is that the Minnesota Lynx, they got it figured out.
Right.
They do. They won what, 3 championships? Maya Moore.
Yep.
Oh, four. Excuse me, 4 championships. They're like the winningest franchise in the history of the state. They are, and they went to the playoffs this year again, and didn't have their big time center Sylvia Foles, which I think Sylvia's kind of on her way out. Too many injuries now, and her age too.
Yeah.
She's
Oh man.
about
Yeah.
35,
Yeah.
34, 35, something like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Got
she's breaking
injuries.
down too much now, and she's a great player too in her own rights. She came from Chicago. She was in Chicago Sky. Didn't want to be there. She came here, won a couple championships here, won an Olympic gold medal here. So she's an accomplished basketball player. I look for Sylvia to actually end up being a coach somewhere. Yeah.
I would say that too. I mean, I do. You know, what's crazy? Like, I haven't had a chance to, like, especially this year, watch a lot of women's basketball. But
Shame on you.
I know, shit. Don't slap my hand. I'm gonna slap my hand myself. Bad boy, bad boy. But I have followed them since we had the team down here, and
Right, you had the dream,
yeah, I got the dream. But I mean, they're
and then you
okay.
and you lost Angel McCautry.
I Man, I'm like, whoa, what the heck?
She went to Las Vegas. She played for Las Vegas team this year.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I look that series, man. That Las Vegas and Storm series, man. I'm like,
Over.
yo, that was yeah. Hey, Storm is strong, man. I mean, Sue Bird and what's the
Brianna.
Stewart? Yeah,
Yeah.
man. They some ballers, man. How you gonna be 6'7", 6'8"? I mean, she's like the KD of women's basketball. She can get a shot anytime she wants to.
Right.
She has no weight. Okay, you're right. Two West Coast teams. I don't understand that, but hey, it is. That's what happens when you're in the bubble. It's the bubble basketball. So I mean, yeah, but yeah, that's yeah. I think the Aces might get the next game, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I think they can get
No,
it.
Seattle's too strong, man.
They are
Sue Bird
strong.
and,
They are
and
strong,
Brianna,
man.
they bring it. They bring it every night. And the other players too. They play well together as a team.
Right, right, right.
You know.
Yep. Now on to football, Uncle. Let's talk some NFL. You want to go through some scores real quick?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So the Browns are beating the Cowboys. So all y'all Cowboys fans, they still suck. Um, Yay for the Vikings today. They won. Let's see who else we got today. The Bengals beat the Jaguars today, 33-25. The Saints, they came back from 14 down to beat the Lions early. They were down 14 nothing early to beat
So
the
wait a
Lions.
minute. They beat the Lions.
They beat the Lions, and Lions were winning 14 to nothing. I was watching that game. I was like, man, the Lions suck, but the Lions actually played pretty good. So the Seahawks are 4-0 still, 31-23 over the Dolphins, and Buccaneers beat the Chargers 38-31, which game was like a little influx. And the
Right.
Panthers, which was a good game, the Panthers and Cardinals. The Panthers won that game, so I'm happy to see Teddy Bridgewater like be successful and start to really play, and you know everything like that. And yeah, so it's a lot of players getting COVID in the NFL, man. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, they rescheduled the game for the Chiefs and the Patriots too. So
Right. That was a big one there. Cam
yeah,
Newton,
yeah,
he
Cam
got
Newton's out.
actually got out.
Yeah,
Now, how long we got to sit out? 5 days or 7 days?
I think it's like 7 days. But then here goes the thing. That's not even the big one. The big one is the Titans. Titans like they got what 8 or 9, 7, 8, 9 people, a couple of players, but like a lot of staff members that are having COVID, and so then you have them, and then you have the other team that they played, and they're kind of looking at each other too. So it's a little up in the air. I don't know how they're gonna do everything. So oh yeah, and Houston had 11 people, so that's a lot, man. That's really a lot. I don't think they're taking this. I don't think they're taking the safety seriously, and that's
Right.
what
Because I know a couple of NFL coaches got fined
yeah.
recently from last week.
Like
Didn't have their mask. They had their
$100,000.
mask down. Didn't have their mask up. So
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, those are like $100,000 fines.
Right.
They're not little bitty
Right.
fines, and it's kind of like what do you do to keep the season going? It's like, hey, look, who you kind of have to know. You can't know who started the little who had it first or second, but it's like, do we wait and play these games later? So you're not gonna. So here goes your bye week. Their bye week is gone.
Right.
Then
That
at the
eats it
same
up.
time, yeah, so that eats it up. Or if they don't have a bye week, if their bye week was early, which they weren't, do they just forfeit some games? You know, the games that you
Right.
had to sit out. So you looking at you get 1 or 2 players that can't play, or you have 5 players, multiple players. It's like, yo, you got to sit out for 2 weeks.
Well, it all comes down to money. They want
It's the money.
the owners want to make that money.
Yeah, it's billions of dollars. It's billions of dollars.
You know.
It's just not that. It's not thousands of dollars. It's billions of dollars that's at stake right
Right.
now. So
Right.
it's a big thing, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? I get it, but at the same time, it's like, okay, look, my thing is here goes my take on it. So the NFL, the NBA, the MLB, everybody has some kind of treatment that they're doing for these testing, right? How come we can't get this for the mass public? I'm just asking a question. I'm just asking a question. And this is coming from talking to 2 people one who's had COVID and one who is potentially might have it or have not. But I'm just saying, like, what's the treatment? Like the same treatment that you give an athletes is the same treatment that you should give my uncle, or the same treatment you should give Sherry. And it's not go home and sit down and do nothing. They're giving them fluids. They're giving them vitamins. They're pumping them with something to defeat the virus. And I mean, that's my take on it. That's my take on it.
Hmm. Well, like I said, I just think that it kind of screws the season up a little bit too,
Right.
because now the Kansas City game is going to have to be replayed at a later date, and so now you're messing with the playoffs now,
No,
or you're messing with
they're
six.
playing it on Monday. They switch it to Monday night.
Okay, well, see, there you go,
Yep.
and so you might not have Cam Newton won't be there to play.
Nope.
He stayed back, so you got probably a second string quarterback, that's backing up. But and you just don't know, because I imagine Belichick is just like, wow, and you gotta have, because Cam Newton makes that team go.
Right.
He's what's exciting about that football team.
Right. Right. He makes the
The
team
other
go.
guy, not so much.
I mean, we'll see what happens. I mean, with this COVID thing, it's like, what happens when one of the owners gets COVID? Then what? Then what
Well,
do you do? Then what do you do?
well, question is,
What happens when
uh,
Jerry Jones gets COVID?
your
Kind of
your
mission to
president's
fail.
got COVID right now.
Ain't that a trip? Ain't that a trip? I mean, I'm not Sherry. Sherry, he's your president. You didn't vote for him, but he's your president. He's the president.
But again, it's a situation where if one of the owners gets COVID, okay, it's still, it's, kind of like life goes on. The
Right.
season just goes on.
Right.
It's not gonna not, you're not gonna hold back these games because they got to be played. At some point in time, they have to be played.
Right.
You know.
I mean, it's like I don't know how much the owners are in the facilities right now, and that's one of the things with the Titans. It was really some like the facility. It's a couple of players, but I think because they're interacting with the facility, like some players and coaches and like facility people.
Right.
So
Because I know last week I saw where Robert Kraft was down in the locker room congratulating the players.
right, right. So that's one of those things. It's like wow. It's like how is this really going to happen? So I mean I mean I think it's in we got 10 minutes. I think it's I mean I think the season will be fine. To be honest, I think
Yeah, I think it will too. You know,
I think
I think it will.
I
Will
think
it will?
it's like it's to be expected. So you know, it's to be expected. So you could kind of just say, okay, look, we expected this, and then it's like the first instance of this happening, and now going forward, how are they going to deal with what is going on with the health of the players, the staff,
Right.
and everybody else going forward? So
Right. Well, I like I said, the show's still going to go on. It's not going to. They're not going to stop playing these games at all. They're
right,
not. They're not going to. It's just they're going to just go ahead and play them, and because there's too much money that involved, all the way around the board, for the owners and for the players too. But I don't think. I think just like college football, you still got Notre Dame. They had about 11, 12 people that were out. Well, that shut a whole other season right there.
yep, yep.
You
That's
know.
that's that's it. Hey, so speaking of college football, that'll be our last topic before we got to go. What do you think about the football games yesterday? What do you think about Alabama? Is it going to be Alabama and Clemson again this year? Roll Tide, Sherry. I know. Roll Tide. I know.
From what I've seen thus far, I I would have to say that it had to be Alabama versus Clemson.
I think
You know,
would this be the what the fourth year? This be 4 years in a row they played
right?
something like
It
that.
will be four,
I think.
but
Yeah. I mean, Alabama looked good. I mean, Alabama looked real
oh,
good.
for sure.
Alabama could look real. I was like, wow. They kind of surprised me how good they looked.
Well, it didn't surprise me because you got to remember, those are all 4 and 5 star athletes,
True. True.
and you're playing against twos and threes, and it's mostly threes in most of the cases, and I think Georgia didn't look bad against Auburn. They just totally destroyed Auburn.
Yeah, they just ran the ball on 'em like it was nobody's business.
Right.
I mean, you know what's crazy? Auburn is not bad. Auburn is not bad. Um, next is actually going to be good. So I think next year is going to be his breakout year. Um, so I will look out for Auburn next year. Next year, I think Auburn will be good. Georgia's going to be good. They look real. I mean, Georgia is like how USC used to be with running back U. That's
Right.
right now. They got three or four stud running backs.
Yeah, Georgia bumps out these guys. Where these guys come from? The
South
backward,
Georgia,
the
South
by the
Georgia.
backwoods of Georgia.
Yeah, man, these dudes, man, they come out from everywhere. It's like, man, it's like, I mean, it started with Herschel Walker, but it really cranked it up with Robert Williams. No, what's his name? What's the guy he used to play? I can't think of his name.
Todd Gurley.
No, before him, he played in the same backfield with Todd Gurley. It was he played for the Patriots, but he hurt his knee.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
went back. Remember they had it was him, Garrison Hurst, and all of them.
Right, right, right.
Come forward, it's like, yo, they had. We're not talking about Nick Saban. They they had some stud they had some stud athletes, man. They had some stud, you know, because it was him. It was my high salute guy. Uh, man from the
Oh, yeah, from Denver.
Terrell. Yeah, Denver.
Terrell Williams. And Terrell wasn't even starting quarter.
Terrell
Wasn't even
Davis.
starting
Terrell
halfback.
Davis. Yep, Terrell Davis.
He
Yeah,
wasn't even starting halfback and went on and win 2 Super Bowls, man.
yeah. Roberts was the man. That dude, man, he was a monster, man.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, man. And I remember the day I met Terrell Davis. Good job, Uncle. Thank you.
Well, I just go back.
It's all good.
Just saying.
Yep. So that's pretty much I don't know. That's pretty much yeah. College football looks like crap. I mean, I can't even lie, man. Just
It does, because they didn't play any of those preseason games, the gimme games.
right.
But again, I just think Alabama looks like head and shoulders above everybody.
Yeah. I mean, Florida doesn't look bad. Florida doesn't look bad, but I
But
don't
see,
know.
Florida doesn't have a defense. They got a couple
No.
of good guys on defense, but they don't have a defense like Alabama's. Is like, oh my
Oh.
God, they got these five-star athletes,
Yep.
man.
Yep. I think
They
Florida's
got
on.
three of the best receivers in all of college football.
Correct.
You know,
Correct.
so I just don't. It'll be interesting in the ACC because really, um, Notre Dame has to play Clemson at one point and two.
Yep. Yep.
And I think Miami will play Clemson either this week coming up or next week down the road.
Yeah.
But they'll same thing with that. And I think if they can get past Miami and get past um, I'm out of the brain for it, Notre Dame,
right. Yeah. It's a
it would
cakewalk then.
it's because there's nobody else even comes close to talent wise to Clemson. But they're like anointing Clemson number one.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking that uh, if Alabama looks sharp,
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah. Yeah. They do.
I just
There you
um,
go. There you go, Sherry. Go on ahead and agree. Go on ahead and agree and say, yay. Yeah, roll tide. I got you. I got you. Roll tide. See, she just does that. And I know what it means. I know what it means.
yeah. Well, you. And then the other thing is, I think Nick Saban and his staff they coach those guys up good, man. They do a good job of coaching them up, you
Right.
know.
Right.
And then you look at it, they got it was like almost what was it, 8 guys that were assistant coaches for Alabama and now gone on to be head coaching jobs somewhere else.
You got yeah, Lane Kiffin and yeah, man, you got all these
Yeah,
guys.
Lane Kiffin's latest guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I'm just looking at Clemson's schedule, man. I'm just like, dude, I was like, they have Miami next week on the 10th,
Right.
and then you like you said, they got Georgia Tech. Well, Georgia Tech might be a little bit of problem, but they're not going to be a big problem.
No, Georgia Tech doesn't have enough. They don't have
Yeah,
enough talent.
they
You
don't
have
have
to
enough
have
talent.
talent,
Yep,
and they don't have talent.
they got
And
no.
that's the bottom line. If you don't have the studs, you're not going to be able to get a job done. You may be able to stay with the team until halftime. After that, they stick it into Clemson sticks into another gear. Same thing with Alabama. They stick it in another gear, and they end up with 45, 50, 54 points.
Right, right.
It's like,
Yep,
so it's just like, nah.
yep. Yeah,
It's just, it's like wow.
yeah, it'll probably be Notre Dame and who else? Notre Dame and Clemson in the SEC
Right, because
championship.
Oklahoma,
Oh,
they're
Oklahoma's
done.
done. Oklahoma's done. They
They are.
can't even. You lose
They
to
can't beat Kansas State.
oh man, and then
They lost to them last week.
and I'm like, dude, I'm like, you guys don't want to win. Like, who wants? Man. All right, we got about 2 minutes left in the show, Uncle.
Okay. Well, I want to just thank everyone for listening to our podcast, and also want to thank my sister Sandra Williams. I want to thank my nephews, Husamadine Parker and Javier. Javier, I keep wanting to call you Javier Collins. He used to play basketball for me. I can't get my now. He's my own nephew. I can't even form my mouth to say carry on. I know that's a shame, isn't it?
Hey, man, it's all good. It's all good. I'm gonna take that. You know, I'm gonna take that.
And I also want to thank my daughter, Saber Williams, because she's been a big help behind the scenes for us, helping us out with our podcast. And, we're coming along. We're doing really
I
good.
think
I
we're
mean,
getting better. We're getting better.
oh,
Oh,
whoa, excuse me. I want to thank you too, Sherry.
we need a
Excuse
woman.
me.
We need a woman's voice. That's what we needed. We need a woman's voice. Good job, Sherry. Good job. Yeah, I'm gonna look at the camera just to you. Good job. Yeah, I think.
But anyway, I want
I
to
think
thank
we're doing
everybody
good.
for listening to us and subscribe. And we're on Facebook, and we're going to come out here in about a couple of weeks. We should be having we're getting some T-shirts made.
Yep.
Big Sam and Nephews T-shirts. So we're hoping we come out with those in a couple of weeks, and then we're also on Instagram. You can catch us there on Instagram too.
It's on Instagram. Yep.
And then we're on
Big Sam and
YouTube,
Nephew on Instagram.
right?
Big Sam and Nephews.
And then also we're on YouTube.
Yep, YouTube.
Get that, catch the shows, and the past shows too. We come out once a week, So yeah. So anyway, if I forgot about thinking of anybody, I'm sorry.
We'll get you next week.
Right, we'll get you next week.
Yep. So,
All right, we're out of here, man.
we're out of here. Later, guys.
We'll see you next week.
Next week.
Bye bye.